All right. So the secret African millionaires, the obvious business model which made them. All right. What West African businessman could teach us. All right. So let's see. So for the people that doesn't know, I started as a mostly dairy trader. So and my problem my focus was on West African market. So I was in charge of basically expanding our market share in the West African market. So you can see me with like big bags of 25 kg bags of dairy powder. So I know very well this part of the world. I've been I think I don't know like 50 times there. I even had a company in Senegal, so I know very well West Africa. So I'm speaking from a position of experience. All right, so what this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy have all in common? All of them made their money the same way. They are all importer and distributors. So when you speak about Africa, and especially now that I'm well known on YouTube, I don't know if I can say well known, but I'm known on YouTube. I would say 99% of people that ping me and that wants to do something with Africa is always about buying something in Africa, some raw materials, some metals, some minerals, whatever, and exporting it, which I think it's completely misguided, especially if you are from Africa, guys. I think the opportunity is to sell to Africa, and most of the people don't want to do that for a lot of reasons. But I think this is a massive mistake because all those guys made their money importing stuff, is selling stuff in Africa. So I can tell you, man, you can make a shitload of money doing that, man. And yeah, man. So, and I have funny stories about all of those people that you've seen on pictures. But let's see. All right. So and yes, now you said, Damien, you think the opportunity is to be importer and distributor. So why didn't you do it? And like, yes, actually, I did do it. So here is so I opened a company in Senegal, and this is the pictures that I and my business partner for in front of our first cargo of palm oil. Actually, it's cooking oil. So and basically, I blew out my business partner because this guy stole all the money, the company, and fucking left for Belgium or something like this. So obviously, it did not work well. So, but yeah, I mean, I still think it's an extremely interesting business model. And if you have like a good local partner that is not going to steal all the fucking money in your company, then it should work. Anyway, so yes, I did try to set up a importing and distribution company. So let's break down the trade flow. So and then the magic sauce, because there is a magic sauce. So importer do something quite. An importer and distributor import a container. The container go at the port. Then they do the custom clearance. They have all the license, so they know how to do the custom clearance in that country. Then they stock the product in a warehouse, and then usually they just like distribute it further down the country because all the country that are I mean you've seen all those guys, they are all coastal country, and then they just distribute it further down in different point of sale. So extremely simple business model. Now, I don't know if you can really make something more easy than that, but it works. So how did they start it? And this part is quite interesting because most of the guys that you've seen on the picture, they started with nothing. Some they were already loaded, the family or the other, but most of them they started nothing. And you know, when you start nothing in Guinea Conakry, in Togo, in Mali, in Benin, when you start with nothing, it's really, really nothing. It's really you are fucking nothing. You don't have even a pair of shoes, man. So those guys started, I think, from two of them, they started like below the poverty line, and now they are, I guess, like they are more wealthy than I. So how it started? Basically, they are from like some village inside the country, and then they saw that, let's say, the bag of rice at the port is less expensive than the bag of rice in their village. What did they do? They collected the money upfront because they have nothing. Collected the money, went at the port, purchased the rice or whatsoever, and then bring it and distribute it at their village. Then they did that few times. People saw that the guy didn't stole the money, and they grew from there. After a while, they went to see an importer at the port, and say, "Man, can you give me more days to pay? Like I have markets here, but you know what? I don't have the financing. So can you give me 14 days to pay so then I can do one rotation?" They always ask that, all right? And then some of the guys say yes, and they just grew their business like this for a few years. Then one interesting thing is that there is thousands of guys that do that, all right? That ask for 14 days to pay or a few days to pay. And all those arrows, there are those guys that do that. But really, the guy that repay on time, each time, there's maybe one guy out of thousands. And this one guy out of thousand understood something. It's like, if you keep your supplier happy and you don't screw with them with the money, you will get more. And this is what all those guys that you've seen on the pictures at the beginning understood. Like, you don't fuck with the money. You take the money, you pay it back on time. So then you get more. Because importers, they are looking for distributors. But they're so unreliable that they try. Okay, I will try with this guy. I will try with this guy. I will try this with this guy. And out of 1,000 guys, there is one that really make it work. So based on that, they can expand. They can then, after a while, they understood that, all right, the money is also in importing the container directly rather than working with an importer. Then they grow, and one day there's some traders, like this is like little trader office here, that goes and says to him, "Hey, look, man, it seems like you're importing quite a lot. Let's check if you have like any credit insurance." So they check the credit insurance. The guy sent the balance sheet of his company. Hopefully, he did the right thing and he didn't screw it up with something completely with working everything, let's say, black market. And then credit insurance check and say, "Man, we can give you 100K, 50K, whatever." Then the trader gives them 60 days to pay. And this is when really the guy can grow his company and become wealthy. And all of that, man, honestly, in less than 5 years, they can really get from like nothing to being a quite important businessman. So, and this is a story that I saw again and again and again with all my client importers. It was always the same story. So it's really possible. Now, it's really like a question of from doing this little trade to buying directly from like an international company and getting credit. This long road here, this long arrow, it's basically a question of getting the right skills, and the right skills will give you capital acquisition. Because when you start with nothing, the only thing that you have is your capacity to execute. So if you can see that, if you can prove to the right people that you have the capacity to execute, you will get capital. You will find some way to make your company work. But it takes time, because you also need to have enough skills, and like, let's say you should be also, I don't know, clever enough not to screw with people around, even if everyone wants to screw with you. So, and this is how you can become wealthy in a very, very difficult country. I've seen it again and again and again. All right, so let's review the risk by a fresh MBA graduate. So if you say like, look, I want to start importing a distributing company in a country in Africa, you can ask a MBA graduate, and he's going to give you some ChatGPT answers. So let's see what ChatGPT think about the risk, and then I'll give you my risk, and then I'll give you what the secret sauce is why all those guys made money. So first risk is obviously the currency risk. Look, if you pay in US dollar and in euro, and then you resell in your local currency, you can get smacked. That's true. But you know what? All your competition, they do the same. So everybody is in the same boat. So it's not like you are getting smacked and not the others. Everybody is getting smacked at the same time. So the risk is a real risk, but technically, when you are within the trade, it's not that much, because if you get smacked, then all your competition are also going to get smacked. So basically, everybody is going to put the same price in the new price of the local currency, in the local currency depreciated. The issue that you can have is if you cannot get euro and US dollar to pay. That's an issue for sure. Political and regulatory risk. Obviously, sudden import ban, tariff, quota, price control, so taxes, corruption, and so on. Obviously, this is a daily business. But this and by the way, the story about tariff is not in Africa now. It's like everywhere. Anyway, so yes, obviously, this is a risk. But you know what? It's your country. You should be able to play with it. Price risk, price volatility of food commodities. Yes, of course, there is a price risk, because price goes up and down. And the way actually to mitigate this risk, because it's not really a real risk, is not by hedging yourself. Most of the guy that we sold to, there is no freaking hedge, man. They just buy the flat price. But what you do is you always buy, you always buy. You don't try to play the market. And let's say if you need to buy 1 container a month, or let's say 5 container a month, then you will buy like every 2 weeks, 2-3 containers. Every 2 weeks, 2-3 containers. So then you have on the year long, you will have an average price. You are always in the market. You don't try to play the market, and then you can mitigate the problem with price volatility. Counterparty risk, obviously, it's the biggest problem. But again, man, it should be this is your skill, man. You should be able to mitigate this risk. Otherwise, you have no business doing that. And then operational risk, yeah, of course, but this is like everywhere. So I would say that all of that is like most of those risks are correct, but most of them should be mitigated by the guy that do import and distribution, and he should know how to mitigate all the risks. And I would even say that all the risks actually opportunities. Because this led me to the secret sauce. So basically, the magic sauce of how they can get wealthy is just that they have a business that have, like, let's say, small margin. Import and distribution, you have small margin. But as it's a fucking chaos, there's always some fucking issues, problem, or stuff like that happens to them in the country with the supplier, whatsoever. That there is always like sometimes, for instance, like some rice. The rice is missing in the country. So then you can bump up the price, and then you can capture more market share. Then you are flat again, and then there's another problem. There's a riot in some port, or there's some issues with some logistics, blah, blah, blah. Your competition is in deep trouble. Boom, you can get market share. Then you carry on. Then there's another problem. Boom, you can get again some other market share. And basically, the secret sauce is like, import and distributor is very low margin. Importation and distribution is very low margin, but it's such chaos around yourself that the magic sauce is just that be steady in the chaos. So if you just can be steady in the chaos and pulling through all the shit that the country, the people, that everyone is throwing at you, you will make money, because all the other competition will die or will lose money. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. And this is how all those guys made their money. Very simple model in a very chaotic environment, but by doing the right thing again and again, years in and years out, you will get wealthy at the end. All right. Again, so Neo-Phoenicia, it's close to there. And yes, look what Nicola said about Neo-Phoenicia. It's worth every penny. And right now, by the way, guys, we are going to do, if you register now, in October, I think 16th of October, we'll have our first physical event where all the members of the community can attend. It's only for the members of the community. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, let's jump into the Q&A session. Paf. Yeah, you prefer, okay, do you prefer import or export? But that's the point, man. I think if you are from an African country, it's easier to import, definitely, because it's easier to sell to someone that you know face to face. It's way harder to sell to someone overseas when you start. Yeah, they started 1 pallet at the time, 1 bag at the time. This is how they started. Yo, trade. Yo, Nicolas, when the practice came in. Interesting point on the price risk. Can you elaborate? Basically, instead of fixing a price, for example, 5 months, you can do small batches every two. Yeah, exactly. So it is basically how you mitigate the price when you can't hedge. Basically, obviously, it only work if you have like some volume. Is instead of going trying to guess when the price will go low or high and buy at the time, like you would say, like for any stock of like of any shares, like on the financial market, instead of trying to guess, what you will do as an importer is you will buy, like, I don't know, every week you buy 2 containers. If you need 8 containers a month, every week you buy 2 containers. Da, 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 da. So then you can just flatten your purchase price instead of trying to to gamble and to buy 8 in 1 row. So that's basically the way to mitigate the price risk and to basically smooth your price on a year long on the year. So this is what basically, obviously, okay, I will say that most of them, they try to kind of play the market, but they also are always in the market, so they are always buying. So at the end of the day, they just they just have an average price for the year. Tell us more about the event in Dubai. Man, the event in Dubai, yes. So we'll have like the member of Neo-Phoenicia. We'll have few speakers that are going to break down trade flows, and then we'll also going to speak about things that we cannot speak online. And yes, power of proximity. You need to meet people face to face if you want to close deal. Need to do SACA first. Yeah, man. Set to sell my first few pallets this September. Most knowledge came from this YouTube channel. Mohamed, this is why I'm here, man. You start with few pallets and you finish with a few fucking vessel. Most people lose on hedging or the long term. Time wasted, commission, or the fees. You might win short term, but long. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's there's like so many ways to answer this question. So look, if I would say it's a net it's a net positive. Otherwise, firms wouldn't hedge. But it's true that you need to have a certain size. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Look, for instance, also you need to understand, like, let's say that you are an oil producer, right? Okay, you are oil producer. You are starting a new well. You are going to see a bank and you want to issue some debt to just build the well. It costs 2 billion, all right? So you are going to the capital market to issue some debt. So the fact that you can say that you have already hedged, that you know your price yourself, so for the next 2 years, it's a plus for the issuance of debt of his debt. So it's not sure. Well, I mean, yeah. Where did you go to get your business started easily? Man, there's no business to easy is a wrong term, man. It's like it's everything is difficult, but I guess this is a good strategy at the beginning when you need to be conservative with your capital, but as you grow, I would assume you should actually be exposed to make the real bag. Man, it's usually you will make the real bag with some dislocation in the supply chain, which are not going, and where you are well placed to just pounce on it, not really by speculating, because it can go both ways, man. I've seen so many companies, not that much, but I've seen companies like just go under because of that. Damien, what they are selling mostly commodities, consumer staple, a mix of both. Okay, they started mostly, yeah, I would say a mix of both, but it's like tuna can or some like baby diapers, most of that stuff. But it's like extremely. All usually what they sell is like it will be consumer staple, but like with a quite fast cash cycle. So this is something that people need to buy. And then commodities, yes, it's just like rice, sugar, and those big commodities. Man, you need to be like a big players to do that. So this is why some of them they do like rebar, like reinforcement bar for concrete or all that stuff that you need to that need to be used, because the idea is that you don't want to have stocks. You want to sell your stock as fast as possible, so then you can make work the cash cycle again and again. But then some of them, then they got like big, and now they have factories and so on. It's like the less, I would say, in 15 years, man. So yeah, man. I mean, if you know the country, you know Some of them are extremely rich people now. When do you think oil price will go significantly again? Do you have the crystal ball? Man, this is a very good question, man. I keep saying that if I know where the market will be, man, I won't be here on YouTube. I would be on my yacht doing I don't know what. Any snippet from member who can't make it to Dubai this year? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I have no idea. You can't come this year, but um, maybe I should think of something. Yo, Paul, how are you doing, man? Do you think that cryptocurrency, especially USDT, will be used for international exchange? Yes, I mean this is okay. All right, so this is my. I hope, and I think it's going to be mostly, and I think it's going to be more and more used. I think USD stablecoin is the best way for the US to keep people using the US dollar. So as they have weaponized the SWIFT system, countries are trying to get out of the SWIFT system using any other currency than the US dollar. The problem is that there's a lot of problem, but I think the USD stablecoin is going to be, I would say, in the next 20 years, the most used means of exchange, because it's impossible to do an international payment. I would say like 20% of 25% of my time is some issue with the bank, block payment, ask for documents for whatever. Man, it's very, very difficult. So I hope that is going to be used more and more. Is there a price difference between scrap and new material? If so, where those price can be price and compare? What do you mean? But usually, yeah, there is a price, and the price is only the price of reprocessing into a new one. So it's usually quite a small delta. Nothing is easy, just to be consistent, power of consistency. But yes, exactly. Nothing is easy, but if every day you do the right thing, every day, man, it's difficult, man. It's difficult. Maybe there's some easier way to make money, man. If I could be a model, I would be a male model. You know, like just taking freaking pictures, man. Would be easier, I guess. but no, man. Yes, everything is difficult. Nothing is easy. Everything is hard. It gets easier when you get better. Exactly. Wise word, man. Yes, showing up every day is a new way to guarantee success. Exactly. Damien, I want my team to do a SACA. Do you have a discount for a small African firm? Send me an email. Send me an email. We need to see like how many people and so on. Send me an email, no problem. We have some corporate offering. A bit off the topic, but why did you choose to move to KL, especially cheap and close to Singapore? Yeah, so why? So because right now I'm in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and actually there's a few reasons. I wanted to. All right, I was in Switzerland, and when I became like really business owner, that I made my own money, I was like, man, Switzerland is very expensive, especially with a family with children and so on. I'm sure there's another country where it's cheaper and where I can develop better my business. So I look at the globe, and basically there were 3 places where there were growth. In growth in factories, like new factories, basically, because this is where you want to be as a commodity trader. So the Gulf, GCC countries, India, and Southeast Asia. So that was basically the 3 regions. And then Southeast Asia, it wouldn't really make sense to go in Singapore. It's extremely expensive. I don't really need to. I just go there, like for instance on Monday I go there again. I'm there at least once a month. But yeah, then you can just live in a cheaper place. And actually, Malaysia, it's I really like Malaysia because people speak good English. The workforce is actually quite good. There's a lot of things that goes in the way of Malaysia, and the quality of life is just crazy. So, and it's difficult for people to understand, like especially if you're from the West, how good the quality of life here is. Many common firms are already using stablecoin, bank compliance, skill that you trade ignore. Yes, exactly, man. I know. Yes, there is a lot of use of USDT in trades, but it's only in a sub category of trades, I would say. What is your annual? I don't give my numbers, man. This is basically guys, man, about that. Never, never, never give your number, man. It's I know that on YouTube people give big numbers. I don't know if it's true, not true whatsoever. Um, and I understand why they do that. It's to catch, to attract attention, but you never, never give your numbers because the reason is that it's only there's no upside actually. Give me one upside by giving your numbers. There's no upside. Kiel is an emerging market, good to start, and because of growth potential. Yeah, it's not really. It's also because they have good airport and I can fly in the region quite easily. Yeah, exactly, man. What commodities are you are on the verge of becoming big next? What commodities are on the verge of becoming big in the next year or so? If you are, I don't know, man. I don't know. Seriously, man, I don't know. I would say that if you want to start, maybe if you do coal, it's great because everybody hates it right now. So I think it's still have a lot of legs. But then there's also like I met actually another guy that was also in the shipping commodity academy that started his company. He has now like 7 employees. His name is Sammy, and he said that he will come on my YouTube channel to speak about what he does. In less than 2 years, man, his company blew up, and he trades like biomethanol, biogas, bio stuff like in Europe, like all those compliance market, like I don't know, man. I don't know about that, but maybe this is it. Maybe this is. I mean, it works for him, so I don't know. I'm starting carrying a big trading house. Any advice for me? No, man. Just no, man. Just be good. Be good. Oh yeah, be a good employee. First of all, try to learn as much as possible about all the topics, and don't forget that in any big trading house, at the end of the day, it's about like political stuff. If you want to go on the front office, become a trader, and so on, obviously you need to be good. But all your other coworkers or teammates are good, probably. So then it's all about politics. How can you place yourself at the right time at the right moment? So if you can try to be like a friend to traders, then it's easier. But they are usually quite difficult to speak with because they don't give a shit about you. But because if you think about it, if there's like a seat on a trading desk, they will tend to want someone that is like that they like to be sitting next to them. That's it. So yeah. Yeah, rarus, but man, rarus is not going to be like there's a lot of them. It's very small volume, so I think it's quite interesting for a small niche player. But still, it's uh, still it's quite difficult. Man. It's quite difficult. So I don't know which big one is. I have no idea. You are employees, yeah, a bunch, yeah. How is the market for packed confectionery product like candy and biscuit and so on? Man, I don't know. I mean, and actually, as you know, when I was the pictures that I showed you at the beginning of the stream, we sold to a lot of our clients in West Africa. A lot of my clients was like candy manufacturer, biscuit manufacturer, yogurt manufacturer, and so on. So, I mean, for primary raw material, we usually refer to LME price, but when it comes to scrap material, yeah, it's also. Oh man, okay, all right, I get your question. Yes, it's also LME. It's also LME, and it's LME with a discount, basically. All right. Try to look at countries that are banning export of raw material. NJS ban export of raw. Oh, they ban the export of raw shea. Yeah, but it's mean that you need to process it. But sometimes, and you need to check exactly what processing means, because it's like Zimbabwe. They ban the export of raw lithium or raw chrome, but you can just breaks it smaller and then you can export it as concentrate. So it's not like extreme processing that needs to happen. All right, guys. So I think that's it. Thanks a lot for being here again on this Sunday live stream. I will keep at it on this Sunday live stream as long as I see that there are people that show up. So this is cool. Thanks again. Thanks a lot. Again, like if you are on the verge for the Neo-Phoenicia, and I mean, honestly, I think it's worth it, man. All the people inside they are moving stuff, and network is so important. Proximity is power. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Wish you well. Ciao. See you next week.